Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today, I want to talk about faith. This is a very large topic, and I want to touch on a couple of points because a lot of conversations that we have seem to center around faith. And what is faith, and what does it mean, and how do you get it, and how do you lose it? And we often describe the whole religion as a faith. This is my faith. This is a faith. This is multi-faith. This is interfaith. These are people of faith. And so faith becomes a very commonly used word in our talk around religion. But the interesting thing is that we in Islam don't really use faith the way it gets used in Protestant Christianity. The Catholic Church had a way of doing religion and a way of understanding the religious path and the spiritual path. And the Protestant religion came about because Martin Luther had this idea that he doesn't need to go through the acts and rituals of the Catholic Church in order to have his Christianity. A line from the Bible inspired him that said, by faith alone, that he is able to do, his Christianity by faith alone. He is saved. And when scholars from Europe study Islam, they come with that faith lens, right? They've got these faith glasses on. So when they look at other religions, they bring that faith-centric point of view in studying those religions, so that Islam becomes a faith. The various Indian traditions become faiths. And when they study things like Native American religion, those are also considered faiths. And faith becomes a kind of keyword and a window into all these things, because the Protestant way made faith such a priority and put it at the top. But the interesting thing is that religion does not need to make faith such a central pillar. The thing in Islam is that you have this idea of deen and dunya. Iman isn't one of them. It's deen. Deen means religion. Deen means the whole thing. It doesn't mean just a slice called faith. The other aspect of this is that, when we have this idea of the Shahada, right? Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. I bear witness that there is no God except the God, Allah. Allah means the God, right? So the statement is, I bear witness, ashhadun. And, it doesn't say, I have faith in, I believe. And so faith and belief are really points of emphasis that we've gained through our colonial inheritance. They are not, central pillars of the Muslim religion. The Muslim religion is a kind of total commitment. The Muslim religion is a total acceptance. It's a total witnessing that there is no God but God. There is no God but the God. And it is in that totality that we have our religion and our path and our practice. And so there's a whole bunch of other concepts and terms that fit us much better than faith. And this is very interesting because we often, in trying to connect with other religions and connect with other religious communities, often talk about, my faith and your faith and what I believe and what you believe. And so we have a list of beliefs that we believe this about the Word of God. We believe this about Jesus. We believe this about Muhammad. We believe this about the afterlife. We believe this about the Day of Judgment. We believe this about Moses and Joseph and Noah and Adam and all these. It becomes this whole conversation about beliefs. I believe, I don't believe, I believe. It becomes very kind of trapped in this conceptual box that just circles round and round with faith and belief, faith and unfaith, belief and disbelief, over and over again. And we're just kind of trapped in there. And it gives the impression that religion is all about what it is that you believe. But I think that's a very small way of thinking about religion. The word religion, it comes from an old Latin root. It comes from relegare, and it's the sense that it gives is that it is a relinking, a rejoining, a rebinding, a reconnecting, an idea that is reconnecting us as creature to the Creator and reconnecting us as creature to our fellow creatures. And so the religion is really about reconnecting. It's not necessarily about faith. It's not necessarily about belief. It's not necessarily about, just having a list of beliefs as a kind of calling card that you wear on your, a little button that you wear at a convention, right? How you have those little stickers that say, "Hello, my name is." It's almost like, there's just a sticker there. "Hello, I believe in." And it's a very small way of moving in the world and interacting with other people in the world and kind of distinguishing yourself. "Well, I believe this and you believe that. Oh, I don't believe in that at all." And it's very limiting if you think about it. It's very limiting. And so I want to suggest that there are ways of doing religion that are not so faith-focused. There are ways in doing religion that are much bigger. There's a way of doing religion that has to do with the reconnection and the rejoining and the relinking. There's a way of doing religion that is a practice that leads to things beyond faith and faithlessness. It goes beyond kind of the binary of belief and disbelief. And that is what people are they're hungry for. People aren't hungry for a list of beliefs. People don't really want to join a club or a membership, in your community so they can have a list of beliefs. They are looking for commitments and practices and community and some experience of reconnection and a way of belonging and transcending. And this is what the human being wants. The human being is not looking for faith and to be just filled up with faith and to be all faith, all the way to the top, of your head, just faith, 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 faith. That's not what people want. People want practice, experience, discipline, the fruit of discipline, the fruit of experience, the fruit of some effort. And people talk about a lot of people, leaving the churches, right? Leaving the religions, and people identifying themselves as the nuns. What religion are you? Check, none. And I think this is an opportunity for religious communities and religious traditions to kind of take a good look at what it is that they're offering and what it is that they are teaching others, and especially teaching the young, right? Because young people today know when something is working for them and something is not working for them. And because they're human beings, because they're spiritual beings, they're looking for that connection. They're looking for that wisdom. They're looking for those practices that they can use so that they can realize something inside themselves, so that they can make real inside themselves the truths of religion. And so it's hard to say to somebody, just spend 40, 50, 60 years of your life believing in Allah, believing this or believing that, when what they're really hungering for is experience, belonging, and some sense of the truth. And this is a very important thing, because faith is such a preliminary step that you almost have to go quickly from that step into experience and commitment. We don't believe in Allah because we were told to believe in Allah, or that our parents believe in Allah, or that the Quran says to believe in Allah. We are doing this religion thing because there are senses in us that are picking something up, that are sensitive to the truths of religion. And we do this religion thing because there is a path there and a practice there to help us develop our senses, our sense of God, our sense of Allah, our sense of the presence and grace of the Prophet Muhammad, of Imam Ali, and our sense of these things. It's there. It's there. It's in there. But you have to go deep into it. And I'll give you an example. My path into a lot of my religious life is through reading and writing. And and you can talk to other artists about this and other writers about this. And there's a moment in your artwork where you start with a very deliberate intention of, this is what I'm going to write, this is what I'm going to paint, this is what I'm going to play on the piano. And you start getting into it very deliberately, very intentionally. You set out, you carve out some time to make this happen, and you get in there and you don't know what's going to show up, right? But there's a moment when your first sentence is a little awkward, your second sentence is a little awkward, your third sentence, you're writing that, you're a writer, fourth sentence, fifth sentence, a little awkward, then something, sixth sentence just strikes the right tone. And then the seventh sentence comes immediately right after, and the eighth and the ninth and the 10th and the 11th. And before you know it, you're flowing. You're flowing. This stuff is just coming out. And you can't believe it. Ideas, concepts, symbols, images, allegories, alliteration, connections, like all this stuff starts flowing. And it feels amazing and it's great. And you're having this flow state and your peak experience while you're writing. And then you say what you need to say and you come back out of it like you've just been on a journey and you're back now. And you start to teach somebody else this, and maybe in a writing class or something, you start to teach somebody else and you say, there will come a moment in your writing where things will just flow. Things will just move on their own accord, and you will effortlessly start to kind of produce this. And all you have to do is keep your fingers moving. And whether you're writing or whether you're typing, you just keep your fingers moving. And this stuff comes out, and it's an amazing experience. But you have to sit down and you have to make an intention that you're going to undistractedly write. And you have to practice. And you cannot demand that this experience comes every day, every time you sit down, because that's not going to happen. But you do have to regularly sit down and write. And in many moments, inshallah, you will experience that flow state. And it's amazing. Take it back to religion. When you start praying, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim, siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim, ghairil maghdubi alayhim waladhdallin. You keep praying every day, several times a day. You keep praying. And you will have some flow state with your prayer where your connection to the prayer and the ideas in Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, the Allah that you're talking to is no longer an idea. You're feeling something. You're feeling the presence of God. The senses that you have of the presence of God become more and more sensitive. They become sensitized. They become more active. They become more vibrant. They become more real. And you can enter into your religion with this, and you can practice. That's what the practice is for. We practice the religion regularly so that our natural sense for religion is awakened. So we're not talking about faith. We're talking about a real sense of the presence of God. Because we don't want to be sitting around 40 to 60 years still talking about faith. We don't want to be sitting here 40 to 60, 70, 80 years talking about God as an idea, as a concept. We want to feel the presence of God. And that is something that we can humbly seek to experience and capture and recapture as part of our spiritual practice. And so it's not really about faith. It's about that reconnection. It's about that whole commitment, that whole bodied, whole-minded, wholehearted, whole person as a human being. Remember, Allah created you. He said, kun, fayakun, and you appeared. He is the first being that you experienced. So you naturally have the ability to sense his presence, to hear his voice, to communicate to him. That comes prior to your ability to even have a body, to even speak with this mouth and this tongue. Your spiritual senses have been there long before your physical senses were given to you. So when you pray, when you do religion, when you are on your path, when you do your practice, it is awakening and reawakening and revitalizing and invigorating and just setting this stuff. You come back to life when you do this. When you do your regular practice, you come back to life. And it is something else. It's something different. And it has nothing to do with a list of beliefs. It has everything to do with your full engagement in the path that connects you to the Creator. It connects you to the spiritual reality out of which you came and in which you are grounded. You know, you're like this flower. You're like this flower that is always grounded in that spiritual reality. And so when you pray, when you remember Allah, that connection is activated. It is brought back to your mind. It is brought back to your heart. And so that experience, that comprehension, that you know what, we don't have all the right words for it, but whatever that is, it's there and it's real. And for those who dig deep, they find it. If you don't dig deep, you don't really find it. It's then the religion stays for you at the surface level, at the list of beliefs level. And then one day, you know, you're like, why am I doing this? I'm not interested in this. But if you dig deep, like the writer who finds the flow state, those who pray, those who meditate, those who go deep into their contemplations, they find something. They find something. And so I want to give this kind of overview of religion, not as belief or as faith, but religion as this, a total state of experiencing belonging to Allah and feeling that presence all around. That's what we're going for.